In 2023, 19% of the young adults reported having no one they could count on for social support. Well, that is a 39% increase since 2006. On 13th of March 2025, the World Happiness Report, published by the Wellbeing Research Center in conjunction with the University of Oxford, was released. This year's report focuses on the impact of caring and sharing one another's happiness. Like mercy in the Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice, caring is twice blessed. It blesses those who give and those who receive. In this year's report, investigations have been made on both of these effects: the benefits of the recipients of the caring behavior and the benefits of the people who care for others. Well, if you're new here, my name is Ariho, Seth, and in this video we're going to break down some of the key insights that were noted in the World's Happiness Report 2025 and see how we can incorporate these things into our lives. We're also going to screen through the report and see what are some of the top happiest countries and the least happiest countries in the whole world. This video is going to be divided into 3 parts. Part number 1 addresses the things that we can do to boost our happiness levels as according to the report. Part 2 addresses the criteria that was used by the researchers to assess the happiness levels of the people they talk to in different countries. Part 3 then looks through the list of the top happiest countries and the least happiest countries. So therefore, without wasting your time, feel free to skip around the timestamps below and let's get into the video. People were asked if in the last month they gave money to charity, or if they volunteered, or if they even helped a stranger. They were also asked in 2019 if they think a person would help them by returning their lost wallet. First, people are too pessimistic about other people's benevolence. For example, wallets were dropped by researchers in the streets, and the proportion of the returned wallets was way more greater than the people expected, which is actually encouraging. Second, our well-being depends on the perception of other people's benevolence and their actual benevolence. Since we underestimate the kindness of others, our well-being can be improved by receiving actual information of their benevolence. For example, if you actually expect less in a certain test and you score high grades in that test, your self-esteem as far as that test is concerned increases simply because you expected less marks in the test, and therefore by receiving higher grades you feel you're more capable of doing more better in that test. Therefore, by receiving actual information about their true benevolence increases our well-being. Third, when the society is more benevolent, the people who benefit most are the least happy. As a result, happiness is more equally distributed in the countries with higher levels of benevolence. Finally, benevolence increased during the periods of COVID-19, when most people needed help and other people were there to help. This benevolence bump has been sustained since COVID-19, and benevolence acts have been at least 10% above their pre-pandemic levels. So what can we do to boost our happiness levels? Now, according to the report, caring and sharing was number 1 insight that can be done, or that is done, in the countries that reflected higher levels of happiness. Research has shown that people who care more and share more have higher chances of being more happy. The well-being of benevolence acts depend on why and how people engage in them. Both helpers and recipients experience greater happiness levels from caring and sharing, most especially if they do it in a context of a clear positive impact. But on average, countries with the higher refugee shares are less happy. Reason being, most of the refugee flows are due to location, not invitation, thus leaving the countries that are affected less happy. Number 2, sharing meals together. Now, there are stark differences between people who share meals together around the world. Whereas some countries and some families still share almost all the meals together, there are some other countries and some families that don't share any meal, not even one in a day. These differences can't be fully explained by differences in income, education, or even employment. Sharing meals has a strong impact on the subjective well-being. For example, people who reported that were sharing almost all the meals together reported higher levels of life satisfaction and positive effect, and reported lower levels of negative effect. This is regardless of age, gender, culture, or even race. Using data from the American Time Use Survey, it shows that in the United States, most Americans spend more and more time dining alone, In 2023, roughly 1 in 4 Americans reported eating all their meals alone in the previous day. That is a 53% increase since 2003. Dining alone has become more prevalent for every group, especially through the young ones. Key number 3, living with others. For most people in the whole world, family is a source of joy and support. The size and configuration of households affect people's happiness. In Mexico and Europe, the household size is 4 to 5, thus predicting the higher levels of happiness in those areas. Couples who live with at least one child or all their children or some of the members of their extended family report increased levels of happiness. Therefore, people living on their own experience lower levels of happiness, thus reporting low levels of life satisfaction. Key number 4, connecting with others. Now, social connections are vital for the well-being of young adults as they provide remedy from the toxic effects of stress. However, social disconnection is quite prevalent among young adults. In 2023, 19% of the young adults reported having no one they could count on for social support. Well, that is a 39% increase compared to 2003. Early social connections during young adulthood present a long-lasting effect. For example, for university students, friendships that are created in the first weeks of college have higher chances of being sustained, thus decreasing chances of being depressed in the subsequent years. Many adults underestimate their peers' empathy, thus they stay away from connecting with others, therefore missing on the impact they would have from such relationships. Now, how are these happiness levels calculated or measured? Now, the measurement of subjective well-being still relies on 3 main factors: life evaluations, positive emotions, and negative emotions. Now, what are life evaluations? Now, respondents were requested to evaluate their life on a scale of 1 to 10, with their worst life being 0 and their most beautiful life or happiest life being 10. And therefore, this was named a country ladder. Now, each respondent responded with a value between 0 to 10, which equates to an evaluation of his life satisfaction at the moment. Now, typically, around 1,000 responses are gathered each year from each country, and researchers base their conclusions on research made for 3 years in order to increase the sample space and make the results more precise and reliable. Now, the other well-being indicator was positive emotions. Now, respondents were tasked to answer with a yes or no to the 3 positive emotions, that is laughter, enjoyment, and interest. Then the third well-being indicator was negative emotions. Respondents were also asked to answer with a yes or no to the 3 negative emotions, that is worry, sadness, and anger. So by using these 3 well-being indicators, that is life evaluations, negative emotions, and positive emotions, researchers would come up with a conclusive, concretized conclusion to conclude on the levels of happiness of the people that were asked in different countries. So let's go through the list and see what are the top happiest countries in the whole world. Now, I may not go through all the 147 countries, but at least I'm going to link the document down in the description below. So feel free to check it out and screen through the country you may be interested in. So country number 1, Finland. Now, Finland maintains its first position as the most happiest country in the whole world for the 8th year in a row, with the average life evaluation of 7.736. Now, I can't live without saying this, that the United States of America, the land of the promise, has declined to the lowest position ever. That is the 24th position in the whole world. Now, factors contributing to this decline include like social disconnection that has been actually discussed already in the statistics we talked about before. But this is the worst position that the United States has ever gotten. Now, position number 2, Denmark, known for its strong welfare system, low corruption levels, and emphasis on work-life balance, has maintained it on position number 2. Now, position number 3, Iceland, with a close-knit community, low corruption levels, and excellent healthcare systems, has maintained it among the most happiest countries in the whole world. Sweden comes in at number 4, and Netherlands comes in at number 5. Now, before you leave the video, I want to bring the most unhappiest countries in the whole world. Or if you want to be more positive, you can call them the least happiest countries in the whole world. Now, at the 5th last position, there is Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, due to its economic and political instabilities, it comes in at the 5th most unhappiest country in the whole world. Now, at position 144 is Malawi. Malawi also continues to face the above spoken problems such as poverty, economic instability, and poor healthcare systems in the country. At position 145 is Lebanon. Now, if you were to screen through all these last countries, they share a common problems such as economic instability, poverty, political instability, and poor healthcare systems. The same comes with Lebanon. Now, at position 146 comes a country called Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone also continues to face the above spoken problems such as economic instability, poverty, and poor health systems. Now, finally, the most unhappiest country in the whole world is Afghanistan. Afghanistan, ranked at 147th position, continues to being the least happy country in the whole world due to the ongoing conflicts, economic challenges, and political instabilities continue to make the citizens less satisfied with life and more unhappy. These rankings highlight the impact on the social, political, and economic challenges, thus affecting the overall life evaluations of the respective countries. Now, if you've watched up this point, I want to thank you very much, and I hope it has been enlightening and informative to you. Please, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing if you haven't. Like the video and share the video. Thank you very much. See you next time. Peace.